there everybody, I'm Budging Salmon here, and today we're going to be looking at some decks for the Synchro Festival. I think that it's only fitting that we take some 5Ds decks and make them into something that you can use at the festival. So, in this one we're going to be looking at a Rose Dragon deck. I ran a Plant Synchro deck back when Synchros were the newest thing out. I think that it's really fun to look back on that for this festival. So, obviously a lot of these cards came out after that. I think that it should still be fun though. So first and foremost, I feel like if you're running a plant-based synchro deck, you need Spore. Spore is fantastic and wonderful. Dustbot's just a good tuner to throw in to a synchro deck. So then you have Ready Rose Witch. So when you tribute her, you can get Witch of the Black Rose, which is right here. And when Witch of the Black Rose is summoned, you can draw one card and show it. But also, so if you do summon, so if you do add Witch of the Black Rose to your hand, you can take one level 3 or lower plant monster and add it from your deck to place on top of your deck. So you put Rose Fairy on top of your deck so that when you summon Witch of the Black Rose and you draw a card and show it, if it's not a monster, you send it to the graveyard, but if it is a monster, you add it to your hand. And if Rose Fairy is added to your hand by a card effect, you can summon it. It's a really quick way to get a level 7, which obviously, for a Rose deck, that would be what you want. Yugioh Crow. If you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. This deck runs several dark monsters. A lot of the Rose Dragons are dark. So if you have Dark Rose Fairy, if a tuner is special summoned, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, place it on top of your or bottom of your deck. Obviously, this is just another something to special summon in order to get to, more of your synchros. And it's pretty generic. So, Lonefire Blossom, you contribute it, and you can summon plenty of plants. If you do happen to summon a tuner with it, then you can special summon Dark Rose Fairy. So Lonefire Blossom, once per turn you contribute one plant monster and special summon a plant monster from your deck. Super good. We talked about Rose Fairy. Red Rose Dragon as a tuner. If it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except Red Rose Dragon. Then if it was sent for a special summon of Black Rose Dragon, or a plant synchro monster, you can also add one Frozen Rose or Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. You can also only use the effect of Red Rose Dragon once per turn. Alright, and then you have Rose Princess. If your opponent controls a monster, if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon it. It's, just a little mini Cyber Dragon. If summoned this way, it's treated as a tuner. You can only special summon one Rose Princess once per turn this way. You can discard this card to add one White Rose Cloister from your deck to your hand. You have Rose Girl. If a face-up plant monster you control is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can switch summon this card from your hand. If a plant monster is on the field and this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use the effect of Rose Girl once per turn. Rox Rose Dragon. It's another dragon tuner. If this card's normal special summon, you can add one card that specifically lists Black Rose Dragon and its text from your deck to your hand, except Rox Rose Dragon. While this card is this card is in your graveyard, to face up Rose Dragon monster or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Rox Rose once per turn. Alright, so and then we have Witch of the Black Rose, which we covered. Mecha Phantom Beast Cult. If this card is special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. You must control a Mecha Phantom Beast monster to activate and resolve this effect. If this card's level is increased by the total levels of all Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control, while you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Once per turn, you contribute 2 tokens and target one card your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, banish it. Pretty straightforward. White Rose Dragon. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except White Rose. You can only use each effect of White Rose Dragon once per turn. If you control a dragon tuner or a plant tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, you can send one level 4 higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. You have Gigaplant. It's a Gemini monster, so it's a normal monster. When you summon it to the field, you can resummon it. Once per turn, you can special summon one insect or plant monster from your hand or graveyard. Alright, Destrudo the Lost Dragons for song. If this card is in your hand or in your graveyard, you can pay half your life points to target one level 6 or lower monster you control. Special summon this card, and if you do, this card's level is reduced by the level of the targeted monster. Also place this card on the bottom of your deck. If it leaves the field, you can only use the effect of Destrudo once per turn. Alright, you have Mardell. You can only control one Mardell. If this card is normal special summoned, you can add one generator card or one plant monster from your deck to your hand, except Mardell. You can only use the effect of Mardell once per turn. Alright, then you got your staples, Harpies, Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, Foolish Burial. Alright, then you have Black Garden, so if a monster is normal or special summoned face up, except by the effect of Black Garden, have its attack, then the controller of the monster special summons one rose token to their opponent's side of the field in attack position. This attack loss remains even if this card leaves the field. You can target one monster in your graveyard with attack equal to the total attack of all plant monsters on the field. Destroy this card and as many plant monsters on the field as possible, then if you destroyed them all, special summon the targeted monster. Obviously this is one that you play at the end of your turn. You special summon all your monsters first, and then you summon Black Garden. And then all the monsters your opponent summons will be halved for their turn. White Rose Cloister, if you control no monsters, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster or one plant monster from your hand. When you can only use the effect of White Rose Cloister once per turn. During the draw phase, before you draw, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap, reveal the top card of the deck, and if it's the declared type, apply this effect for the rest of the turn. Even if this card leaves the field, level 7 or higher, any Synchro monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. Pretty dope. Called by the Grave is another staple. Frozen Rose, send one face-up monster you control to the graveyard. Apply this effect depending on the type it had on the field. Plant, during the end phase of this turn, draw 2 cards to discard one. Non-plant, add one level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to your hand. It's supposed to be Basil. Rose Shoot. Special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. If this set card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragon or one monster that lists its card text that's banished or in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use the effects once per turn. So you have 2 of those. Alright, and then the extra deck is going to be Martial Metal Marcher. If this card's Synchro Summon, you can target one tuner in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negates effects. You can only use the effect of Metal Marcher once per turn. A Synchro monster that used this card as material is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. Alright, Garden Rose Maiden. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Black Garden from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Rose Dragon monster or one Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use the effect of Garden Rose Maiden once per turn. Garden Rose Flora. You can target one card in the field zone, destroy it, and then special summon to the controller's field one Rose token in attack position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Synchro monsters. You can only use the effect of Garden Rose Flora once per turn. Once per chain to your opponent's main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves Synchro summon using this card you control. Splendid Rose. I had to do some tweaking because this deck typically uses some fusion monsters, like it uses some Predaplants that were limited, but then it also uses like instant fusion, and it uses some of those staple fusion monsters, so I had to replace a couple. So I grabbed Splendid Rose because you can banish a plant monster from your graveyard, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, have that target's attack till the end of this turn. During the battle phase, if this card attacked, you can banish one plant monster from your graveyard, have this card's attack until the end phase. If you do, it can make a second attack. So this is kind of like a last-ditch effort kind of card. Charge Warrior is just really good. You Synchro Summon it, you get to draw a card. And it can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls, which is really good. If you summoned him before Black Garden, and then all your opponent's monsters are halved. Black Rose Dragon's the reason for the season. You summon it, you can blow up the field. Since most people don't use this in a plant deck, some of them don't know, but once per turn you can banish a plant monster from your graveyard. Target one defense position monster your opponent controls, change it to attack position, and then its attack becomes 0. Black Rose Dragon Moonlight, if this card is special summoned, or a level 5 or higher monster special summoned to your opponent's side of the field. Target one special summoned monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Paralysis gains 400 attack for each plant monster you control. During your main phase, you can special summon one level 5 or higher plant monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. You can only use this effect once per turn. Stardust Dragon. It's just another replacement of those fusion monsters. I felt like it fit the 5D's theme pretty well. Always good to have a negate. Crystal Wing, also super good once per turn. When a monster's effect is activated, you can negate it if you do destroy that monster, and if you do that, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end phase. If this card battles an opponent's level 5 or higher monster during damage calc, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it's battling during damage calculation only. Boral Load, another just really good synchro to splash into things. When it's Synchro summoned, you can equip one link monster from your graveyard. Not going to happen, obviously, during this. Yeah, so it's really not that important. But this part, when your opponent activates a card quick effect, you can remove one Boral counter from this card and get the activation if you do use. It's just a big one. It's just like a big 3,000 beater. Because you're not going to be placing any link monsters on it. Virtual World QB. Like obviously this works better in the regular deck, but it's still big. So you can replace this with something that you want. Maybe toss like a Red Dragon Archfiend or something in there. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. Personal favorite, pretty dope. Need to put him in my River Play deck apparently. You can only use the effects of Shinshin once per turn. If a monster declares an attack, you can return one banished monster to the owner's graveyard. During your main phase, except the turn this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 monsters from your graveyard with different original types and attributes from each other, and special summon this card from your graveyard. Pretty cool. Ready Rose Dragon. If this card is synchro summoned, you can banish all cards from your graveyard. Then if this card was synchro summoned using Black Rose Dragon or plant synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards on the field. When your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy cards, you can tribute this card and get the activation, and then you can special summon one Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. Baron de Fleur. Once per turn, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. While this card is face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use the effect. You can only use the previous effect of Baron de Fleur once per turn. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard. Return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon that monster. Alright, Cosmic Blazar Dragon. This is another one that I just kind of had to throw in as a replacement for something that was here before. Alright, this card must be synchro summoned. You can banish this card until the end phase to activate one of these effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. When your opponent would special summon a monster, or when your opponent would summon a monster, negate the summon. If you do, destroy that monster. Your opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack, and end the battle phase. So that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's more cleaning up to be done. I completely skipped over World Carryweight Champion. He's just super cool. If he's in your graveyard, you can send one plant type monster from your hand or face up on the field of the graveyard except World Carryweight Champion, special summon him. Pretty fun if you need synchro stuffs. Okay, so, and I didn't even talk about Spore either, man. Wow. It's a tuner, and if it's in your graveyard, you can remove another plant monster. He gains the levels of whatever you removed and gets special summoned back onto the field. So, and then that is banished when it leaves the field, I think. No, it's not. You just can only use it once per duel. Alright, so that's pretty much it. It's a lot of fun. From personal experience, I enjoy just having Gigaplant. He's super dope. And there's plenty of ways to get him. So I will leave it to you guys. Let me know if there's another deck you want to see. I think I'm going to do another 5Ds deck after this. Let me know what deck you're running in the Synchro Festival. That'd be pretty cool. And I will talk to you guys later.